Hello everyone, today we will be solving Summer 21 Paper 4-1's question number 1. This is a question which involves the linked list and an array as well, and also records. So it's a really good question to practice ADTs if you want to. Okay, so the question says an unordered linked list uses a 1D array to store the data. Each item in the linked list is a record of type node with a field data and a field next node. So it is a record basically, which is a class, and it has two fields, and the index is given for like the reference. The current contents of the linked list are start pointer, empty list, which is start pointer is 0 and empty list is 5, which means that at 5 it is the next free space. So if you follow the pointers of the next node, we will get to the sort of the end of the list. So we can have a run through so we have an idea of how this linked list is working. So for example, the start pointer is at index 0, right? So the data is 1 and it points to the index 1 because the 1 is in the next node. Okay, so it points to 1, and then the data is 5 and it points to index 4. So we go to 4. At 4 the data is 2 and it points to index 2. So index 2 is here, and the data is 6 and it points to the index 7. So we are going to go to 7. The data is 56 and it points to index number 3. At 3 we have 7 and the next node is -1, which means that at index 3 it is the end of the list. So -1 points to it being the end of the list, right? So empty list is 5, which means that 5 is the next free space. Okay, and they've already given that 5 points to 6 and 6 points to 8 and 8 points to 9 and 9 the list is going to end. Okay, so what we have to keep in mind is that when we are adding new elements in the linked list, we're going to put the new element, for example, at 5. Okay, so what two things we have to do. One thing we have to do is that we have to put 5 in the next node of 3, because our last element was 3, right? And it needs to point to 5, right? And if 5 is our last element, then its next node should be -1 and our empty list should be 6. So just to be clear, we are going to put 5 in the next node of 3 or whatever the last node is. Okay, and then we're going to put the next node at index number 5 into empty list, so that whenever we have to add a new element, for example a second new element, that we're going to put it into 6, and in place of next node over here we're going to put -1, so that our last element at index 5 is going to be -1. Okay, so now we're going to move on to part A. The following is a pseudocode for the record type node. Type node is this, they've given the pseudocode and we have to write the program code to declare the type. Okay, so this is basic, so we can get on with it. Okay, so those of you who are new here, I make my videos on Python. So if you're using Python, then this video is going to be useful for you. Okay, so we are going to declare the class, and it's going to be class node, and it's not important to make those the attributes private, because they haven't really specified if we need to make them private. So even if we don't make them private and just access them normally outside the class as well, then it's fine. Okay, so we are gonna initialize it to the parameter values. Okay, so we did not add a double underscore here, which makes it a not private, a non-private attribute. So we don't really need to set up the getters and the setters separately, so that's going to take a long code. Okay, so the part, it says write program code for the main program, declare a 1D array of type node with the identifier linked list, and initialize it with the data shown in the table on page to declare the pointers. So basically we have to declare an array ourselves in the main program, and instead of what we usually do is we take input from the user, right? But this time we just have to declare all of this data ourselves, and like all of these sort of elements ourselves of the linked list in the main program, and it declared the pointers as well, and this is all supposed to be in the main program. Okay, so we can just get on with it. And one thing we missed over here is the attribute declaration, that in Python you need to remember to declare your attributes, like the data type, and they're both integers. Okay, So this is our main program and we are gonna make an array and the identifier is this. Okay, so now each element is a node, right? So it's supposed to give an option for what are yeah, okay, so these are our parameters that we're gonna pass. So we're just supposed to copy it from over here. So it's 1 1 5 4 6 7 1 1 5 4 6 7 7 minus 1 2 2 0 6 7 minus 1 sorry 2 2 and it's 0 8 56 3 0 9. And then it's 0 minus 1. Okay, so this is how we have declared all of our elements, and we have to declare the start pointer and empty list as well. So start point is 0 and empty list is 5. Okay, yes. Now moving on to the C part, the procedure output nodes takes the array and the start pointer as parameters. The procedure outputs the data from the linked list by following the next node values. Okay, so we are gonna output the data basically, so we don't have to do it in the main program. So it's gonna take two parameters, the array and the start pointer. Okay, so we're going to follow the next node values and keep printing the data. So what we are going to do is we are going to do first we are going to print the first element. So array, we go to the array and then we go to the start pointer, right? And we print its data. So we're going to assume that the array over here that we're going to pass as a parameter is going to have elements of the type node, which is why when we do dot data, it's going to return the data because it's going to be from the type of class. So it's when with the start pointer, maybe we're going to pass 0, for example, the first thing. So it's going to go to the 0th index of the array. It's going to be the linked list is the array that we're passing for this question. So it's going to go to the data of the 0th index, which is going to be 1, and it's going to print 1. Okay, and then start pointer may we put the value of the next node. Okay, and we have to do this till start pointer is -1. So while start pointer is not equal to -1, I think, yeah, so it said outputs the data from the linked list. So if the linked list is supposed to end at -1, right? So we're going to do while link file pointer is not equal to -1, you keep printing it, and the start pointer gets its value from there. So we don't have to worry about the fact that the value of the start pointer would completely change, like outside the outside this function, because it's not a global parameter. It's not a global identifier. We're just passing it as a parameter, so that this is going to happen inside the function. Okay, so this is how we do the C part. The second part, it says that we have to edit the main program to call the procedure output nodes and take a screenshot to show the output. Okay, so we are here in the main program and we're just going to call the procedure with our linked list and with our start pointer, and it's supposed to print it. Yes, so it's printing till 7, jahan pe hamari linked list was ending. Okay, so sorry, yeah, 7, the data. Okay, so this is for the second part. the D part, it says the function add node takes the linked list and pointers as parameters, then takes as input the data to be added at the end of the linked list. The function adds the node in the next available space, updates the pointers and returns true. If there are no empty node, it returns false. Okay, so this is related to what I told at the start of the video of how we're going to work through adding a new node, how we're going to update each pointer accordingly. So I'm going to write the code for this now, and we are going to run through it again. Okay, so one thing is that if there are no empty nodes, that means that empty list is going to be -1. So that is the metric we're going to use to check if there are no empty nodes in the list. Okay. So now we are going to write program code for it. So we are going to start with okay, so these are our parameters. We've called both the pointers and the array as the parameter. We're going to assume that the array is going to be the linked list. Okay, so first we're going to take the input from the user, and that is going to be an integer, and we're going to write please enter your value or whatever you want to write. Okay. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is we're going to check if the list is empty or not, and if the list is if the list is full actually and there are no empty nodes, so we're going to return false. And if it's not full, then we are going to add it. Okay, so we're going to the linked list, and then we're going to the position of the empty list. Now I'm going to use this example to run through it as well. So for example, we're adding an element and our empty list is 5. Okay, so we are if we're adding the first element, if this code runs for the first time, we are going to index number 5, and we are going to put the value that the user entered over here, say in the data area. Okay, so we're going to point data and we are putting the value over there. Okay, so now in the last function when we were using that, we just used start pointer directly because it was not going to change as a parameter value, because we're just passing it as a parameter and it's not a global index or a global variable, so it's not going to change. But we can also try the second way so that it's clear, and we can save the value of the start pointer into a new variable so that we can avoid confusion. So we're going to work with both of these ways because both of these ways are correct when we're writing the code. Okay, so we're going to save the value of the start pointer in a new index. Okay, and we're going to put it in a loop basically. So we can do that later actually as well, or we can just do it right now. Okay, so what we're saying is that while new index is not equal to -1, which means that it's going to follow the start pointer, right? So as we followed it previously as well, so it's going to go to the start pointer, then it's going to get the value of the next node into the new index, and then we're going to keep following it, and when we get -1, that is where we put the index of the empty list. So what we're doing right now is that we are putting the value of empty list over here. Okay, so we are basically gonna find -1. Say it. So we are gonna put this as well in a new index, because the new index is going to become -1 at one point. Okay, but we need to have the value of the previous index saved. So basically when new index is going to become -1, we will still have the value of index 3 reserved in index over here, right? So that we're going to use index to put the value of 5 in the next node. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. And in new index we're going to go to the array, then we're going to put the index, and we're going to go to its next node, right? Okay, so when this runs for the first time, 0 will go into new index, say, and it's going to go into the loop, say. So new index is currently 0, and then we're going to put 0 in index, and then in new index we're going to put the next node of index. Okay, so new index में आ जाएगा 1, and then फिर 4, then 2, then 7, and then we're going to go to 3, and then our index is still 3 while our new index becomes -1, okay, at some point, and then the loop will break. So when the loop breaks, the new index is going to be -1 and the index is going to be 3. Okay, so now we're working with these two values, for example. So we are going to go to the array and the index, which is currently 3, and we're going to go to its next node, and we're going to put the value of empty list over there. So this is what we're doing. We're going to put 5 over here. In the next step, we are going to go to 5, and we're going to put -1 over here. So that marks the end of the list. Okay, so we are going to put -1 here. Okay, this is what we're doing. So we are going to go to the array, then the empty list, which is still 5 right now because we have not updated the value of the empty list, and we are going to put -1 over there. Now we are going to update the value of the empty list, which is going to put 6 into the empty list, which is now our next free node, basically. So this is what we're doing. Okay, so empty list, where we are putting 6, and now we're going to return true. So I have explained nicely with an example of how it's going to work for this first time, and now it's going to do the same for the next time, and now the empty list is going to be 6, then it's going to put 6 in either over jahan pe 5 ke paas -1 hoga, it's going to put 6 over there, and then it's going to put -1 in over here, and then 8 is going to go to empty list. Okay, so this is going to run till the end of the list, till we get -1 in the empty list, and that's going to mark the end of the list. Okay, so this is how we add a node in our linked list. Now for the D part, it says, I did the main program to call add node, output an appropriate message depending on the result returned from the add node, call output nodes twice, once before calling add node and once after calling add node. And then the third part is text your program by inputting data value 5 and taking a screenshot to show the output. Okay, so we're just adding one element, which is good, and it's not going to put us in a hassle of putting a loop, basically. So this is easy. We're going to go back to our main program. So what we can do is, they said we have to call output nodes twice, once before calling add node and once after calling. So avoiding confusion, we can just print that this is before, then it's going to print the linked list, and then we are going to call add node with the array, which is the linked list, the start pointer, and the empty list. Okay, and now we are going to call output nodes again. Okay, so now we're going to write after, and we are going to call output nodes again. Okay, now we're going to run this, and we're going to hope it runs. Okay, so this is the linked list before, and it's asking us to enter a value. They've asked us to enter 5, and this is our after, so they've entered 5 at the end. Okay, so this is probably what's in the marking scheme as well. I'm going to check, and then we're going to end this video and open questions, and if you have any questions, you can ask in the comments. Right from the marking scheme, and this is how it's supposed to look. So if you guys have any questions, you can ask in the comments, and if you guys want a specific question to be solved from the past papers, you can comment in our videos as well, and I'll make a video over that question. Okay, so please like, share, and subscribe, and wait for more videos. You can use this channel to practice videos as well. You can practice each question when we upload it on an alternate days or a daily basis. Okay, so good luck for your exams.